I am so glad that we have a Seraaj Family Homes. We need many more children in the care of an organization with a leader like Abdul Seraaj, somebody that really cares about children. That man, I think, he calls it tough love. He said, but he will snatch a child out of a situation fast. I called him about a case just last year that I learned about because a young man called me and he said, I'm giving up, which meant to me that he was threatening suicide. And I called Mr. Seraaj. I said, what do I do? He said, you need to call the state office. He said, you need to report it. They need to get those children out of that situation. I said, oh, but I don't want to be responsible. He said, okay, well, either you be responsible for saving them or you be responsible for letting them die. Whew. I said, that's not fair. He said, who said life is fair? He was very serious. I didn't know what to do. So I followed his lead. He said, it's tough love. He said, but you can't know and act like you don't know. Yeah. Hello, I'm Dr. Tonea Stewart. I'm an actress, an educator, a mother, a grandmother, a museum exhibit director, a play director, and producing film projects when I can. So that's who I am. But what I do is give of myself, and that's what I love. I love helping others. How I met Mr. Abdul Seraaj, I believe it was through his children, his son, Lukman. He came to some function that we had, and then Lukman was telling me that his dad was interested in helping any way that he could. And so we made an appointment. He came by my office, and at that time my office had very, very little. He said, what are some of the things that you need to get you going? Because I heard your comments to the students. You're enthusiastic and you want to do so much for them. How can I be of help? I said, well, for one thing, I sure hope they get me a secretary soon. And when I get a secretary, we're going to need a fax machine. We need a copier. He said, okay. I said, oh, but let me see how you can help. He said, I can do that. I said, the fax machine and the copier? And he said, sure. And I said, oh God, I really wanted to cry. And then after that, I learned more about what Mr. Seraaj was doing. And I wanted to be of help to him. So he said, well, you know what? You can come and speak to my children. And when I made it to the occasion, all of these beautiful children, all of these ages, I didn't realize that he meant a whole community of children. And then I was hooked because I love children. I knew that I was in good company with the Seraaj family. From day one, I've worked with students who have been in foster care. And it wasn't until I met the families with the Seraaj Family Homes did I note a difference. Now this is the truth. I have had students, because when you're working in the performing arts, in acting, you have to break down the barriers and you have to peel the layers of onion skin that people hide behind. The trauma that many of these young people have endured is a forever lasting burden on them. But when I was in the company of the children from Seraaj Family Home, I could not pick up that trauma. I did not find those layers of insecurity, those layers of hiding behind, I hope nobody can look at me and tell that I've been raped. Those layers of hiding behind, I hope nobody can tell that I don't like to stand close to my foster auntie or uncle or dad or mom. I didn't see that. I saw pure connection like family. And the interpersonal communication that comes across when you've done enough sensitivity training with humanity, you know when a child or an adult is hiding something. You know it. You don't know exactly what they're hiding, but you know it's a pain, and you know it's a stress, and you know it is a barrier that they have no way of controlling to get over. And that's a terrible way to live. Yes, I've had many. I've had some that we had to actually, they had to be committed to medical care because they couldn't shake it. It's a horrible experience. And people think, oh, they'll get over it, they'll be okay. They don't get over it. Yes, I've had many students. I had one young lady that called me even after graduating from college that was reliving something that happened to her and her family because she was with her parent, really. It was her mother and her mother's new man. And then she found out from her little sister that the new man was doing the same thing to the little sister, and no one would do anything about it. And she could not shake it. She had a real problem with it and reliving it for what happened with her. A young man I had, we were going through the exercise of purifying yourself, of stripping the layers. And I said, okay, what you're going to do, you're going to do your own story. When he started doing his story, he stopped and he ran to the wall and he started beating the wall. And he wasn't even talking his story. He was acting it out. And then he got to a point of it came right back into his face. And he started hitting the wall, and the wall was cinder blocks. And his fist was bleeding. I had to get between him and the wall and hold him. And his strength was so strong, it was hard for me to hold his hands to stop him from trying to push his fist into the wall. So he just broke down and fell to his knees. And then I asked everybody to just step back. I said, let me have a moment with him. Because I had to bring him out of that. And in the process of bringing him out of it, with tears and nose running and slobbering, he got it out. He said, he hurt me. He hurt me. And I said, tell me. I said, curse him. And it was an ordeal for him. And we did, I was able to get him out of it. And I'm grateful for that. But there was one that I couldn't get him out of it. And that was the one that we had to just call paramedics. He couldn't shake it. I've known many students. I've known children. I've known college students. I even had a performing arts group called RPAC, Adult Repertory Performing Arts Camp. There was an older man. When he was about to do his story, he called it the Booger Man. And he said, at night, the Booger Man would come and I would hide under the sheets. But he'd find his way under the sheets And this man was, I think he was 70, about 72. And the tears at age 72. He talked about the book of man being abused. It was a powerful, powerful presentation. So the lingering effect of being in foster care or being abused or being mishandled as a child can last a life. It lasts a lifetime. I love children. I love people. And when I look into children's eyes and I see the aspirations, the hope, the questions, the desire, I want to be a part of fulfilling that desire. And I get a great joy out of talking to young people, working with them, and helping them to realize their innate gift, their God-given gift. Every one of us, we have a gift. And many times we don't know what that gift is. So if I can awaken a desire, an enthusiasm, a hope in a child's mind and a child's eye, I am very satisfied. It's gratifying for me to work with children. And it's gratifying for me to steer them away from troubled times, troubled things, getting into trouble. Like John Lewis said, giving them some good trouble, giving them something to focus on, giving them something to want to do, giving them something to say, I can do this, it's in me. I had no idea I could do this. And now they're doing it.